Everyone is getting excited about this crypto bull market, but what if I told you that this is going to be the last parabolic run up? Yes, that's right. This might very well be your last opportunity for explosive returns. In this video, I'm going to break down why I believe this will be the final massive bull run for crypto. I'm also going to discuss the signs, the market shifts, and what this means for anyone that's serious about maximizing their gains in this crypto bull market. Let's dive in. My name is 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗹, and if you haven't done so yet, make sure to smash the like button if you are excited about this crypto bull market. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, because I'm going to be posting regularly throughout this crypto market cycle to help you to get an edge in this crypto market and to help you to make sense of everything that's currently going on in the markets. And before we continue, just quick disclaimer over here, nothing in this video is financial advice. This video has been made for educational purposes only. Please always do your own research before making any investment decision. Now, let's dive in. Why this is crypto's final parabolic bull market and why you absolutely cannot miss out. So let's zoom out. If you're new to crypto or if you've been around for a while, it doesn't really matter. There's one thing that you really need to understand, and that's up till now, crypto has moved in 4-year cycles. And these 4 years, why is it 4 years? Why is it not 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years? Well, that all has to do with the Bitcoin halvings. We'll dive into what these Bitcoin halvings are in a bit, but I quickly want to show you this pattern. So if you look here on this chart, which shows the Bitcoin halvings, which happen every 4 years, and if we look at the bottoms to the tops of these market cycles, we see very explosive returns. Here in this market cycle from 2011 to 2014, more or less, 11,645%. If we look at the next cycle, we see almost 7,382%. And if you look at the previous cycle, we saw almost a 2,000% return. When you hear these returns, they are unprecedented. Like, there aren't any traditional investments or investment vehicles that provide you with these returns. And that's what attracting so many people to Bitcoin and crypto recently, because they hear these returns, they have fear of missing out, and they also want to get a slice of this pie. Now, why does the market move in 4-year cycles? That has to do with the Bitcoin halvings. So whenever you're doing a transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, those transactions are bundled together into blocks of transactions, hence the name, the blockchain. And those blocks of transactions are processed by the Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin miners are individuals or companies or institutions that own specialized pieces of hardware. Literally, they're like computers that are stripped of all functionality except those functionalities or those features that are needed to process these transactions. In return for processing those transactions, they earn a commission in Bitcoin. And that's what we call block rewards. So back in 2009, when Bitcoin was just released, the block rewards was set at around 50 Bitcoin per block of transactions that was released to the Bitcoin miners. And every 4 years, this block reward gets halved. So it went from 50 to 25 to 12.5 to 6.25. And currently the block reward is 3.1 Bitcoin roughly per block of transactions that's processed by the miners. And now you might think that those 3 Bitcoin that's released to miners right now is a lot less than the 50 Bitcoin in 2009. That's totally right. But one thing that you should understand is that in 2009, Bitcoin was worth less than $1. Now those 3 Bitcoin are worth $10,000s. So even though you get less Bitcoin, the miners, the value of that Bitcoin that's generated by the miners is a lot higher. So if you want to make a lot of money in the crypto market, and if you look at people that have done so in the past, including me, then it all comes down to having the right mindset and the right perspective. And there's one quote that embodies this very well, and that's this quote by Warren Buffett. If you don't know who Warren Buffett is, Warren Buffett, I call him the GOAT, the greatest of all times. Warren Buffett is one of the wealthiest people in the world with a net worth of over $100 billion. He's the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, which is a publicly traded fund. And contrary to many people, Warren Buffett actually accumulated all of his wealth through investing. And one of the quotes that he's known for regarding successful investing is, "I will tell you how to become rich. Close the doors and be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." So you should actually do the exact opposite of what the masses is doing. And there is this tool which is called the Bitcoin rainbow chart. You can Google this chart, and it's a free tool that you can find on the internet. And this chart overlays the price of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is this black line, and then these different colors is the market sentiment. And the market sentiment goes all the way from basically a fire sale, meaning that everyone is super fearful, to bubble territory, where everyone is really greedy. Now, what many successful crypto investors are doing, and what you should be doing actually in any type of financial market, is whenever everyone is super fearful, that's when you should be buying. And whenever everyone is super greedy, that's when you should be selling. So if we tie it to this chart, whenever the price is in purple, blue, or dark green territory, that's still the accumulation phase. So you should be buying when everyone is fearful. And that sounds very easy, but if you look at the past few weeks, for example, the market was very fearful. The average retail investor was scared, and nobody was talking about Bitcoin. The interest in Bitcoin, if you look at Google Trends, so you can go on Google Trends, you can select Bitcoin as a search term, and you can see the search volume. Actually, there were record low amounts of searches for Bitcoin. So meaning that the average investor wasn't really interested, whereas that was probably the best time to accumulate more Bitcoin. So it often pays off to do the exact opposite of what the herd is doing. So if we go back to this chart, then probably the best time to start selling your Bitcoin is when you are in yellow, orange, or red territory in this chart. So that means that the masses is greedy. So why might this be the last parabolic run? So let's quickly go back. So why am I sharing this? Why did I decide to share this chart with you in this YouTube video? Because up till now, the game has been to buy in these green, blue, and purple zones, and to take profit in the yellow, orange, and red zones. That was the game that successful crypto investors have been playing. Buying low, selling high, buying low, selling high, buying low, selling high, and doing the exact opposite of what the others are doing. But when and if this is the last parabolic bull run, then the game totally changes. So let's discuss why this might very well be the last parabolic bull run. I often compare crypto or Bitcoin to the early days of the dot-com boom. So in the early 2000s and late 1990s, we saw a massive boom in internet companies. They were getting really crazy valuations. Everyone was getting really hyped, and then the entire market collapsed again. So we saw very high returns, and we saw everything collapse again, and then it was very volatile. I'm sure that by now you probably know Amazon and its founder, Jeff Bezos. So I like to compare Bitcoin to Amazon. When you look at the early days of Amazon, you can see that around the late 1990s, you saw that Amazon stock shot up, and then in the next few years, it corrected down. Then it went up quite a lot again from 2002 to 2003. Then again, it went down. Then it went up again, and then it corrected down again quite a lot. So if you look at these moves, so here on the vertical axis, you see the dollar values of these stocks. So ranging from 50 cents at its lowest point to $4.50 at its highest point. So these price swings are quite high, quite big percentages. They're quite volatile, you could say. So in the financial markets, we call these price swings volatility. And when they make very big moves, we call it a very volatile asset or a very volatile stock. Now, this was in the first 10 years or the first 10 years of 2000. So it was the early days of the internet. Now, let's first look at Bitcoin. So why does this resemble Bitcoin? So when we look at Bitcoin, we see a similar pattern. So we see very big moves to the upside, and then we see very big corrections to the downside. We see very big moves to the upside, very big moves to the downside. So Similarly to Amazon stock in the past, right now Bitcoin is showing very similar price volatility as Amazon stock. Now let's look at Amazon right now. So Amazon is quite a mature company. When you ask around like average people on the street and you ask them what is Amazon, they probably know what Amazon is. They've probably bought some stuff on Amazon before. And everyone now comprehends what it is, how it works, how it creates value. So as the stock Amazon matures, also investors become more educated, and now when there's price swings, there are more buyers for the stock than there were in the past. So the stock tends to become less volatile. And what we see now is that the price swings are less intense, and that over time Amazon just tends to become a straight line up, almost slow and steady to the upside. So yeah, again, I want to show you this chart. So I believe there's a very big parallel between the internet and Bitcoin. So the internet adoption and Bitcoin adoption. So here you see a chart where you see that actually Bitcoin is being adopted much faster than the internet back in the days. And why is this important? Well, it all comes down exactly to why Amazon stock now is behaving like it is behaving right now, because it's mature, because people understand it better. So for every dip in the market, there will be more buyers that are buying up the dip, so it doesn't correct down as much. And I believe that if Bitcoin is following this similar trajectory, especially now that we're seeing that also large institutions like MicroStrategy, which is a publicly traded company that's buying up a lot of Bitcoin, and BlackRock are also coming out with a lot of Bitcoin and crypto related products. Now we're seeing these institutions enter the market. And these institutions, compared to the retail investors that were usually dominating the crypto market, have billions and even trillions to spend. So they have a lot of budget and they can buy up large amounts of these assets. So that's another big sign of adoption. And if you actually look at who is currently holding a lot of Bitcoin, then we see that these Bitcoin spot ETFs are holding 5% of the total supply. We see that countries are holding 2.5% of the supply. Publicly traded companies are holding 1.7% of the supply. Private companies, 1.3% of the supply. Bitcoin mining companies, 0.3%. So we're seeing a lot more players enter the market. And again, that is a sign that an asset is maturing. So there's more buyers for a certain asset at a certain price. And this usually tends to reduce the volatility of something over time. We're also seeing more and more regulatory clarity. What do I mean with this? For the past 15 years, Bitcoin and crypto has been sort of a gray zone asset. Governments didn't really clearly understand how they wanted to regulate this asset. But now we're seeing that slowly but surely some countries are coming out with more rules and regulations on how they want to handle crypto and Bitcoin. So the UAE is one of the leading companies in this aspect. So here you see a tweet. The UAE has just eliminated taxes on cryptocurrency transactions. They are light years ahead of the rest of the world. Imagine how much Bitcoin the billionaires in this country are buying. Another country, Japan. Japan is going to lower the maximum tax rate on Bitcoin and crypto from 55% to 20%, which is in line with other financial assets. So we're now seeing that some countries are, publicly announcing how they're going to regulate crypto, how they're going to tax it. And that's what we want to see. We want to see more and more uncertainty being taken away from this asset class. And again, this will bring in even more buyers into the market. And when there's more buyers into the market, the asset matures. It means that it will become less volatile over time, because for any price in the market, there will be a certain amount of buyers that are going to buy up the dip. Finally, I also want to show you this tweet, which is my tweet. If you're not following me yet on X, go to BTC_wireman. I post 4 to 5 times per day, helping you to get an edge in the market as well. So I highly recommend you to follow me there as well. One of the tweets that I posted there is that Donald Trump, if he gets elected, he basically announced that he wants to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset. So meaning that the US is not going to sell its Bitcoin, but is going to hold on to its Bitcoin and potentially probably buy even more Bitcoin to hold it on his balance sheet. And potentially probably print money, create more fiat money to buy more of this asset. So if the US does this, then you can be quite certain that other countries around the world are also going to adopt Bitcoin as an asset class. And again, that's another big player that's entering the market and that will probably buy up the dip. So Bitcoin, there's another theory that Bitcoin could actually start to behave a little bit more like the S&P 500. So Bitcoin right now is the market mover within the crypto space. If you look at Bitcoin and if Bitcoin pumps, so let's say that Bitcoin goes up with 5%, then altcoins shoot up with 20% or 30%. So Bitcoin is sort of an index for the sentiment in the crypto market. And as the asset matures, it can start to behave a little bit like an index, like the S&P 500. So many people believe that holding some Bitcoin is like having an index or having some exposure to the crypto market by holding one of the strongest assets in that market. And again, what you see over here, similar to Amazon stock, when something matures over time, when there's more buyers in the market, it tends to become less volatile over time. And many believe that Bitcoin is going to start to behave more like this chart over time. So a slow and steady line up rather than the big price swings up and down like the previous 4-year bull market cycles that we've seen. So that is my reasoning why I believe that this could be the final parabolic bull market for crypto. As more and more investors and more players are entering the market, there will be more buyers that will be buying up the dip. As education improves, there will be more educated people that really truly understand crypto, and they also understand the price movements of this asset. So again, whenever the market dips a bit, because people really understand the asset class better, they understand the technology behind Bitcoin better, they understand the fundamentals better, they will also be less inclined to panic sell their Bitcoin or to buy into the hype. So you get more educated investors in the space, and over time, maybe this is not a guarantee, but if Bitcoin starts to behave more like Amazon stock or the S&P 500, then we might soon start to see an end of the 4-year cycle, and we might slowly see Bitcoin start to trend up in a slow and steady line to the top right. So slowly gaining more value over time. And of course, money printing also contributes to this, because the more money is being printed in the world, and yeah, at this point, like trillions are still being printed every single year. A lot of that money flows into crypto, and people are looking for a safe haven to store their wealth. And while gold is still the predominant asset class that people are hedging against inflation, now we're seeing signs that, yeah, crypto and Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin, is now being seen as a great hedge against inflation. So again, this will also contribute to more money flowing into Bitcoin and having it mature as an asset class. I wonder if you agree with this thesis. My goal with these videos is to help you to see the market from a different perspective. So every YouTube video I put out there, my goal is to help you to look at world events from a completely different perspective so that you can create your own investment thesis and philosophy around these important assets and developments in the market. So let me know in the comments below, do you agree? Do you believe that this might very well be the last parabolic bull market for Bitcoin? And also make sure to hit the like button if you got good value out of it. It will really help me with that feedback, knowing that you did or did not get good value out of the video. All right, that being said, peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.